Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Frank Hornstein. I chair the Minnesota House Transportation Finance and Policy Division. And I want to thank Governor Walz and Lieutenant Governor Flanagan so much for hosting us this morning. And I also, before we start, I want to recognize and thank the House members of the Conference Committee for the distracted driving bill. We have Representative Noor, and right there, okay, and Representative Petersburg is here. And special thanks to Representative Torkelson, the ranking member who played a very helpful role throughout the process of getting this bill passed. And to Senator Newman. I especially appreciate the hard work that you have done, and I'm so thankful for the wonderful working relationship and friendship that we have forged since our very first meeting on this bill back in November. But it's really the families, those families who are gathered here and behind us, who have lost loved ones to the scourge of distracted driving. I especially want to honor them. Over several years, they have come to every hearing, in every committee, in both the House and Senate, through all kinds of weather. They have skipped work and family commitments to be here, to bear witness, and to give their testimony. Their courage, perseverance, and dignity have changed hearts and minds here at the Capitol, and they have allowed us to get to this milestone day. It's their work that we honor. And so, friends, we're here today. We're making history. It has been a long and challenging process over the better part of 2 decades. But I'm proud of Minnesota today. We are taking bold action to stem the epidemic of distracted driving. Today, we are saving lives. We are making our roads safer. Thanks to all that made today happen. And I'm very honored now to introduce my Senate colleague and counterpart in the Transportation Committee, Senator Scott Newman.
Representative Hornstein, thank you very much. Folks, I'm very happy to see all of you here today. I want to begin by thanking my colleagues in the House and the conferees that Representative Hornstein mentioned. I do want to take this opportunity to mention Senator Carlson. I'm not sure where, right there. Senator Carlson has been working on this for a very long time. I also want to specifically point out my friend, Representative Torkelson. I'm not sure where he is at. And of course, Senator Dibble, the minority lead. Thanks to all of those. Especially I want to thank Representative Hornstein. The two of us have worked pretty hard on this bill since November. Notice the folks behind me with all of the pictures. Those are the folks that have brought us here. And so that they know, you changed my heart. I listened to these stories in the Transportation Committee, and 4 years ago I would not have supported this bill. And today I stand here as the chief author. And it's because of those people coming into the Transportation Committee and telling their story that was heartrending. And I'm sitting there thinking, you know, Newman, you're in a position you could do something about this. And that's when I began my journey to where it brought me here today. I read a story a couple of days ago. State trooper stopped a young woman, I think she was 18 years old, down in the St. Peter area. She was driving 96 miles an hour. 96 miles an hour. She's on her cell phone doing some kind of a video chat. And she was arrogant when she was stopped and was not very courteous to that state trooper. But what she was doing other than driving too fast was not illegal. But as of today, in a few minutes, that action is going to be illegal. And that young woman, under the same circumstances, will get a ticket, and she will be responsible for paying that ticket and having her insurance rates go up because of the terrible conduct that she was utilizing during that time period. So to me, today, this is really a good day. I am very, very happy. And as I sat in the Transportation Committee and as I stand here today, I cannot help but think of my children. And so today, this bill is for my children and for yours. Thank you very much.
Senator Carlson.
Thank you, everyone, for coming here and celebrating this actually bittersweet event of signing this bill. I've been working on it for many years. Since the first time I signed on to it in 2009, we have had starts and stops, some very big disappointments. But you know, some of the people who were promoting this would write me and say, can you get something done? Can we get something done this year? And it was repeated and repeated. And this year, Senator Newman took it over, and Senator Newman is the one who brought it across the finish line. One person that I do want to mention that hasn't been mentioned yet is the other of our conferees, that's Senator Jasinski, who is not able to be here today. He is out on Senate business right now, so he was not able to be here. And I want to thank him for being on that conference committee. And thank you to the House members as well, because we had a very good conference committee and we got this bill done. We got a clean bill done, and it's a very good bill. Now, as far as the people that are surrounding us, I want you to look at those photographs. These are people being shown that are happy. They're being shown in the best world that they have probably had as far as wedding pictures, graduation pictures, other professional photography that isn't the way they left this life. And I want you to remember that what these folks did that are holding these pictures, they have done a yeoman service here to people who you will never see their picture behind me. They are the people whose lives are going to be saved because the people behind me insisted that we get this bill passed. And that's what happened. And so we have many people from now on, and it's generally the statistic is one person per week whose life is being saved. And all of you that have told me about your near misses, about people rear-ending you, people that have not been paying attention, this is going to make a difference in your lives and potentially the lives of people, as Senator Newman mentioned, your children. So I want to thank you, and this is a start of another phase, and that's the education phase. As much as you can, tell your children to put down the phone. And children, tell your parents to put down the phone. This is a service that I am conveying to you that you must do to make sure that this scourge is minimized. It isn't going to solve every distracted driving problem, but it's going to solve the biggest one that we right now know how to solve. So I want to thank you all for coming here. This is just a terrific turnout, and please go out and do good work. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
Well, what a powerful moment. My name is Matt Langer. I have the honor and privilege of serving as the chief of the Minnesota State Patrol. This has been a privilege to be part of working on this, not only a personal privilege, a professional privilege, but also a big part of who I am and what I've done over the course of my 20 years with traffic crash reconstruction, and the victims and the families in the intersections I can't drive through or the freeways I can't drive by without remembering what goes on all across our roads. It was said, and it's been said, that when where public need and personal passion intersect, leadership erupts. And if you look around on our roads, we certainly see the public need, because it doesn't seem like anyone is content just driving without a phone in their hand or doing something other than driving. And if we look around this room, we certainly see and feel the personal passion that has gotten us to where we are today. I'm proud to be surrounded by the leadership that has erupted and resulted in passage of the hands-free law. It was pointed out once by V.J. Dixit, who you'll hear about in just a minute, that this law really isn't needed for any of the people behind us, because it's too late. This law is needed for the people we can still save. This law is about the doors that won't be knocked on by state troopers only to inform a family that their loved one isn't coming home. Make no mistake about it, this law will save lives. If you walk, bike, or drive on our roads, this law aims to make your travel from point A to B safer. The state troopers, officers, deputies, and other groups all across Minnesota are eager to get to work on educating the public about this new law, because their desire is not actually to take enforcement action. Our desire is to change behavior and to see that voluntary compliance make the difference. But we'll take that education seriously, and although the law won't start until August 1st, today is the day that people can start complying with this good law and make our roads safer. Thank you to the legislators, especially the authors and the chairs throughout the years, for your leadership and interest in crafting this language, listening to the voices, and taking to heart what we have said needs to happen. Thank you to Governor Walz, Lieutenant Governor Flanagan, for your support of just an incredible life-saving law. Thank you to the groups I've had the honor to work with, just a few of them: our own Department of Public Safety, Office of Traffic Safety, the Minnesota Safety Council, the Minnesota Trucking Association, the Insurance Federation, and a list of over 40 groups all across the state of Minnesota who have put their weight and their support behind this legislation. And finally, thank you to the victims. We cannot and we will not forget what you have gone through and what you continue to go through, because it's not over for you. Your stories are alive in me and continue to stir the emotion that makes the work of traffic safety so important for all of us in Minnesota. So thank you. I have the honor of introducing V.J. Dixit. V.J. Dixit has been one of the most passionate, if not the most passionate, advocate of hands-free in Minnesota and across the nation. So my honor, V.J.
Thank you very much, Colonel Langer, for the kind words. And also, there are enough thanks that I could give. Just to mention a few, thank you, Governor, Lieutenant Governor, for making this work. It's very interesting that in 2007, when we lost Shreya, iPhone was introduced. Since that time, distracted driving took another face, and that's what we are trying to control today. That's what we are trying to contain today. And I hope that distracted driving, which was a tongue twister 2007, will disappear from the face of this earth over the next few years that we have this law in place. What was a tongue twister today is on everyone's lips. This is how serious the problem is. And I would like to urge not only those who are listening to this event, but also even the little kids who are even not driving. Let those adults teach their kids what can happen. We are, all these individuals that are standing behind me, I represent them. But for every one of them, there are probably tens of them who cannot even get up from their bed in the morning because their lost one was lost, loved one was lost, and they just cannot do anything. We are just courageous enough. I hope we have the energy to be able to do this, and we are doing this for the future generations. Now, Senator Carlson talked about reprimanding parents. Yes, next step now after the Senate, after the governor signs the bill, is to educate the community. Many of the people don't even know what distracted driving is. Many of them don't even know what hands-free bill is, hands-free law is. So we must take that as the actually call to action that when we get home, start promoting this bill. And of course, like to thank the commissioner and also Mike Hansen, the director of public safety, for already in place with an education system to promote this over the next 3-4 months. On our end, we, the advocates, like our foundation, we have created 2 sets of education material. One for the teenagers who are, we call, drivers in training. Then another program that we just started, and it's going to be kicked off this coming Monday, is called Drivers in the Making. Those are the elementary school students that we are working with. We are working with some art institutes here to engage those little ones so that they can sit at the back of their car seats, of their cars, and reprimand their parents who are getting distracted. I thank you very much, and I hope this will be forerunner to many other events that will take place to reduce that towards zero death goal that we have set for this country, this state. We still have ways to go. Thank you very much, and all the best to you. Distraction-free driving is part of your life. Let's become distraction-free for life. Thank you. And at this time, it gives me the honor and the privilege to introduce someone who is going to do a thing that I have been dying to see being done in this country, in this state. This is Governor number 3 since we lost Shreya. And Governor, we are so honored that you will have the honor of making it work.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone, and Vijay, thank you. It is a privilege to stand with you. And to all of you who are standing here, and to the families. As we stood here listening, I couldn't help think and look at the pictures and the stories that were yet to be written, and the birthdays and the weddings and the good times and the new jobs. And I can't help but thinking, and for so many of you, and especially when the dates are on here, I just feel the deepest apologies that it took this long for many of you. And this one touches all of our lives. We all have family members and relatives that have been hurt by this. And our first priority of those legislators here, who I want to thank for their courage and for doing what needed to be done, our first priority is the safety and security of Minnesotans. That's the #1 thing that we do when we come into this building. And I think we all know, and I often say, everything we do in this building has a real person behind it. And today that becomes more apparent than ever. And getting this piece of legislation across the line did happen. And it's democracy when it's working right. But I just have to say to all of you, in a depth of pain that I cannot imagine, to turn that into a positive is something so admirable. It's something that, again, today in the signing of the law is one thing, but I think in showing the beauty of the human spirit that is present in this is really something to celebrate today. And I also know that when you walk out of this room, the pain stays with you. It will never go away. It will always be with you, and that loss will always be there. But the selflessness of what you're doing to just ensure, as you heard the speakers say, the pictures that will never have to be up here are because of you. It's because, again, you heard Vijay, 12 years of making this happen, 12 years of building the coalition. 12 years of watching the deaths continue to grow, but we've reached that point where we said, enough. BJ's right that the state and the DPS and the folks that are up here and the State Patrol and all of us are going to be part of the education campaign, the enforcement campaign. We've seen, as we've seen in other states, we will reduce deaths. Sons will come home. Mothers will come home. Our children and grandchildren will come home because of the work that you did. So it is incredibly humbling experience, but now we're going to sign this thing, and we're going to start saving lives. So thank you all. Let's do this.
It is the law of the land.
All right.
At this time, we'd be glad to take any questions. The authors and family members feel free to accept or decline as you see fit.
Any on-topic questions, folks?
Yes, for Representative Hornstein, is he still here? The separate legislation to toughen penalties for texting while driving and for serious accidents, where does that stand at this point?
I believe it's passed the Senate.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
The penalties bill.
The penalties bill is off the
Yeah.
floor.
So it's passed the Transportation Committee in the House. It's been referred to the Public Safety Committee. It's awaiting action there.
Is it going to pass this year?
It's unclear. The Transportation Committee has heard it. Anytime there's issues around penalties and reclassifying crimes, that becomes something that our Judiciary and Public Safety Committees need to address.
Can someone talk about what the campaign, the public education campaign will entail? What kind of things are going to be done to get?
I'm sorry.
Could someone discuss just what this public awareness campaign is going to include to make sure people know?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
This is an important question.
It's a great question, Governor. And Mike Hanson, the Director of the Office of Traffic Safety and the Communications Director for DPS under Commissioner Harrington's leadership, this is an intentional education campaign. There's about $700,000 that will be used in federal funds to help that campaign. But today the story begins about educating motorists on what they can do, what they can't do to comply with the law in the interest of safety. You'll have plenty of information on our website, and our goal is to, by August 1st, no Minnesotans should be surprised by this law. That's our absolute goal. There's a lot of talk about enforcement, and as the leader of an agency that does a lot of enforcement, I'm here to say we do a lot of education too. And our goal would be to write fewer tickets and more education than more tickets and less education. So that's our absolute commitment, and you will see that between now and August 1st and beyond, because that's the way that we're going to prevent these photographs from happening, in my mind, is through the behavior change with education coupled with enforcement to make sure Minnesotans know we're serious about this.
What does that take the form of? Billboards, going into schools, everything in between?
All of that, yes. Yes, it's a full court press on education, and we've got a plan. It's being developed and will be implemented. And the coalition that brought this legislation forward and supported this for so long will be a part of figuring out the best strategy to get this into every community across Minnesota and into every driver's head so that they can make the change to go hands-free. It's as simple as a couple bucks to get there. And we'll get resources out and a website up to make sure that Minnesotans learn how to comply with the law, and we're not just threatening it's illegal, it's illegal, it's illegal, but actually helping people understand exactly how they can get to hands-free and comply with minimal to no investment on their part.
A question for Senator Rubin, if you don't mind, and perhaps anyone else too. Senator, you were one of the converted on this. do we ultimately need to go further than this and actually ban talking on cell phones while driving? Totally, is that down the road? And anyone else would care to comment on that?
Speaking only for myself, I truly do not see that happening. I think that technology will move forward that will enable us to use our cell phones in a very safe manner. It would be asking as much of prohibiting people from holding a conversation with a seatmate or listening to the radio. And I don't think our culture is going to change that much. What we ought to be going in the direction next, I would think, is to try and address other types of distracted driving and see if we could also educate the people to do less of that type of activity in the car rather than an outright prohibition.
Something we've heard from the families is that the actual number of distracted driving accidents or crashes are underreported because of just the way information is gathered or not gathered. Does law enforcement have the tools it needs right now to be able to accurately track distraction as an accident factor?
It's a good question. So we do have the actual data on what's reported as distracted, and that goes up through the Office of Traffic Safety, out through the Minnesota Crash Facts report. It's underreported. Some drivers are very honest, and it's easier to prove that distraction contributed, and sometimes that's not the case. So, for an example, if someone blows a stop sign and causes a crash, it can be coded as they failed to yield at that stop sign, but the underlying cause that contributed to them not stopping could very well be distraction, whether that's cell phone or lost in thought or doing something else in the vehicle. So we do believe that those numbers are underreported, but in the last few years with the new crash reporting system in Minnesota, there's additional fields that are helping us get at the underlying root cause a little bit more to help with that data collection. This law helps with that because I think it provides greater clarity to Minnesotans for what is legal, what's not legal, and will help enforcement not only educate but also the enforcement side of that so that people know exactly what they can and can't do, and it's all based on safety.
Will you tell people that a hands-free call is a safe call in this campaign?
No, that's absolutely not part of the message. So hands-free doesn't mean distracted-free or distraction-free. And I think Senator Newman said it best. Obviously, a sterile environment would be the most safe, but with everything that goes on inside of vehicles and has gone on since vehicles have been on our roads, there's a lot of distractions in the car. So none of this message is meant to say if you're hands-free, you're distraction-free. We still want people to pay attention to driving and to follow the laws and to just use common sense and pay attention to what you're doing while driving.
Have you reached out to any other states that have similar legislation in terms of how to go about enforcement and seeing what other states have done?
That's a good question. So Minnesota, depending on how you look at when Arizona will implement their law, will become the 17th state to have a law. I'm proud of the law that's been written. I've told the authors that. They should be proud. The legislature and the governor should be proud of the law that was produced in Minnesota because it has clarity. There aren't loopholes in it, and that will help us become even safer than we already are. We do have a good network, whether it's through the International Association of Chiefs of Police on my end or the traffic safety community through Director Hansen's or the Safety Council. There's a good network of communication that goes on between states to see how the implementation and education can be done, learning from best practices.
Folks, I want to make sure both the governor and members of the press have the opportunity to talk to a lot of the advocates that are here if they wish. So we'll just do one more question today. Or we'll end there. Thank you. Thank you all.
I'd like to make one comment here about education, that the education has already started. I'm of the age where the 55 Alive classes, I've taken a few of them, and these are the ones that you take after age 55 and you get a discount on your insurance. And the last one that my wife and I took had about an hour of distracted driving education, and it was primarily discussing cell phone use. But I also want to tell you that there is a lot of publicity that has not been covered, one of them being the Dixit Foundation, and then there's also some others of the families here. A Just Drive event is going to be on April 27th, I believe it is. And I want to point out someone here who is a family member. And can you wave at the crowd, Sylvie? Sylvie is a college student. Her grandfather was killed, and she is actually going to high schools and teaching people how to live with cell phones and not use them while talking. So we've got young people who have taken charge here. And Sylvie is just one of those young people. We have others. I've seen posters in high schools. I have seen young people that have come to my office and have talked about it. So we want to make sure that we give credit where credit is due. The young people get it, and they're going to be doing a lot of education. So thank you for your questions.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.